Alright, good morning. It's the next day. I think this is going to be part 4. I'm sorry, but the videos have to be short. Unfortunately, my computer does not have enough memory to process these videos, and it's only allowing me to do small portions at a time until I can get a new computer. So yesterday I took everything off. Now I'm still only on page 1. The instructions are actually made for someone with some type of mechanical abilities or mechanically inclined, because all it says is take this off, take that off, take off the spindle, take off the shocks. It doesn't necessarily tell you what nut to take off first, the size. It will give you torque specs on how to torque it after. So I left the passenger side undone. I have some things that might help you guys out and might make things a little easier. So let's go to the passenger side and check that out. Okay, so step 1, set to disconnect the battery. Let's see what else. Support the truck on jack stands. Number 3, take off mud flaps. Number 4, disconnect the nut from the tie rod. Yes, disconnect it, but they show to take it off. I say do not take it off, and I'll show you why right now. Let's see, what is this? Disconnect the sway bar. Remove the brake calipers from the steering knuckle, hang them out of the way. Remove the brake lines from the knuckles. Okay. Disconnect the steering knuckles, we did that. Remove the hub cover, cotter pin, axle nut, did all that. Support the lower control arm, loosen the upper ball joint, basically all of that. Remove the castle nut and the 2 bolts on each side connecting the lower control arm assembly from the knuckle. Okay, but anyway, so like I said, this is more geared towards someone that knows how to just take things off, not just take things off, but the proper sequence of how to take things off. And then this is the one part that I did earlier. Now this one says to take off the nut from the spindle, but I did not. I separated there's 2 nuts under there. I separated the 2 nuts. Most of you are going to keep your stock lower control arms anyway, right? So, and then take off the 3 bolts on the top of the shock assembly. Oh god, this wind. Remove the whole shock tower, the whole shock assembly. Next, oh yeah, skip if you're 2-wheel drive. For 4-wheel drive, disconnect the front drive shaft from the differential only, not from the transfer case side, right? Support the lower differential. You're going to lower it down the jack. And then do not separate the axle from the differential. So basically you're going to leave it all together, but you can get away with so you're gonna have to cut the rear cross member. You're gonna have to cut that in order to put the new drop down brackets in. Let's see, you're gonna have to cut there. Okay, so you're gonna have to cut that. The instructions say to pull the differential out. There's a ton of room, so much room. I got my Sawzall in there.
Hey, that's it. Sorry, Coach.
No problem. All right, sorry, lost my train of thought. Anyway, sorry, I am going to show you. It's really windy, it's really hard to hear me, but I'll show you. So I did not touch this side yet. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do first. That way it'll make things a little easier. So you're just gonna crack and loosen the spindle nut. I took this off, but I'm gonna put it back on the tie rod. You're gonna loosen the castle nut off, smack the front, and just let it pop out, but leave it connected. The first thing I would do is take off the caliper, hang it with a bungee cord, whatever. There's 4 bolts behind here, okay? You're gonna crack and loosen all 4. You're gonna pull it out until it hits the back of the of this part here, and then you're gonna pull the whole unit out, loosen, pull out, loosen, pull out. Okay. Remove the. At that time, you can remove your shock or coilover. At the same time, you're gonna take off the 36 millimeter, something like that, axle nut. Hit here, but watch out, do not hit the threads. Either put the nut back on if you have to. The proper way is to grab a brass punch and punch this thing with a brass just to crack it loose. Once that is done, you can now take everything off. Okay, so that's the process that you're gonna see me do. I may put it on time lapse, I don't know, we'll see. Or I might just put on regular speed and fast forward throughout the whole thing. There's no sense in making you guys sit through that whole process. All right, let me grab my tools and get started. God, the sun is killing me. Another thing that would help you, definitely help you, just crack the lower control arm bolts on both sides. That'll allow the lower control arm to swing down and you can pull everything out a lot easier. This is gonna fall. Okay, now for the next steps. Just to make things easier myself, I'm just gonna go ahead and take off the lower control arm now, just to get it out of my way. Pay attention to the orientation of your cam bolts. I am hot and dying in the sun. So the next thing I'm gonna do is take a pickle fork like that and remove the lower ball joint. This guy. Or you can change the ball joint at this time, I guess. It looks like just a C-clip and it might pop out. It'll be a good idea to change that thing now. But I'm gonna just pop this guy out. Okay, let me take off the other side, and I think I'm almost out of time for today. Okay, I'm gonna do the driver's side. I just did the passenger side. So I'm gonna take out the lower control arm, loosen a lot of the bolts, take off the frame, the lower control arm bump stop. That thing, right there. Take that off. Like I said, I'm out of time. I'll save the rest for tomorrow. or whenever I can get back to this. Next one will be disconnecting the vacuum hose, the breather hose on the differential, disconnecting the electricals on the front locker, diff, whatever you want to call it, the four-wheel drive actuator or something like that. Disconnect that. At that point you would cut the cross member. You could, if you guys are doing this on your own, you could just cut the cross member while it's in the truck and work around it. It's easier. If not, take the whole diff out, fight with it. I need to take the diff out anyway because I'm pressing in some 529 gears in this thing. Yeah, so I'll save the rest for tomorrow or the next time I see you guys. Or if I get a new computer by then I can upload bigger segments and more in-depth kind of things. All right, till then, I'll see you guys. I think this is 4. I'll see you guys on number 5. Have a good weekend. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. I'll see you guys on the next project. One more thing. If you do take off screws, nuts, and bolts, please remember to bag it, label it, find some way to label it. Yeah, either put a piece of tape, stick it in a Ziploc bag, write on it with a piece of pen, whatever. So I do that for mine. Just get a piece of tape, write down driver, passenger, whatever, and just tape and mark everything. Okay, like I said, that's it for today. Thanks, everybody.